What is up, guys? Rick is here with some very interesting Rise of Iron information for you guys today. Now, the Rise of Iron is Destiny's next big expansion coming later in 2016. Now, this information is that the Cosmodrome, to which we all are very familiar with, is getting updated for the Rise of Iron. And in fact, several sections of the Cosmodrome are getting pretty substantial facelifts with this new DLC. This is kind of weird because Bungie has kind of casually mentioned this, but is not really emphasizing what I think is kind of a big deal. In fact, on the official Xbox store, under the features listed for the Rise of Iron, an updated Cosmodrome isn't even mentioned. We have the new Plaguelands area and social space, but nowhere does it say a completely remade Cosmodrome. So that's what we're going over today. Now, the evidence for this actually lies in the official screenshots. And funny enough, again, you'd think that this would be talked about more, but it really isn't. I think what happened is that they have these official screenshots set out to all of these news sources in press packets. So, Polygon or wherever is getting all of these screenshots, and they're not huge Destiny players, so they do not recognize the significance of what some of these screenshots are showing. But they are showing, again, remade sections of the Cosmodrome. So let's go over them. This section here, showing this signpost in the background and a shank up front, is actually this portion of the divide in the Cosmodrome, to which you can clearly see it's very clearly the same area. Interestingly, the sign up in the background, in the screenshot, it has that chunk missing from it, but in Destiny right now, it does not. It is a full sign right now. So that does mean that, again, they're going in, they're changing certain features of the Cosmodrome. Now, this may not seem like much, but there's a ton more changes going on that I've located. Right here is another great picture of the divide, this screenshot here, and you can see its current in-game counterpart as I'm standing right here. And actually, the fallen walker that was covered in snow in the screenshot, that's actually exactly where the Fallen Walker public event comes in. So that totally makes sense that this now dead Fallen Walker, I mean, I've killed him like 100 times personally, so finally it's dead, covered in snow, and again, very clearly it's the same area. Very interestingly though, in the screenshot, in the background, there's a gaping hole in the wall, whereas in the game right now, obviously that hole is not there and it is not gaping. In fact, actually, back where that hole is, you can see this entrance here is actually how you get back to where you originally spawned in the first few moments of your Guardian in Destiny. And that area, it already was said by Bungie that that is kind of where this gaping hole is. They mentioned in the reveal livestream that, this, area that it shows in the promotional poster is actually the same area where you first began your adventures as a Guardian. So this all is making a ton of sense. But it's actually more than this one area, the divide of the Cosmodrome, that seems to be updated. We actually have this area here of the rocket yard, and very clearly you can see the screenshot, then you can see when I switch over to the gameplay, it's the exact same place. Quite noticeably, in the screenshot, this area has been remade with some of that weird kind of technology-oriented disease or some sort of plague or something, so that has enacted itself and has involved itself all the way into the Cosmodrome, which we're playing in right now. So right there we have pretty undeniable proof that some areas of the Cosmodrome are getting a complete facelift in the Rise of Iron. New features, a lot of new features actually, are being added into these areas to spice them up and get them ready for the Rise of Iron. But we then have a couple of very interesting and very important questions to ask. How many of these other screenshots, as I'm showing on screen right now, take place not in the new Plaguelands zone, but in the Cosmodrome? We have a lot of screenshots that, again, seem to take place not in any new area, but in the Cosmodrome. Everything looks very, very familiar in the backgrounds, with a few differences. We then have another very interesting question, which is the Cosmodrome just getting updated, which we for sure know at least that is happening, or is it getting also expanded? Now that's very interesting, and in fact, we may actually get to go to kind of, the promised land. Now that refers to the area just when you spawn into the game. That area, if you look off into the distance, this area has been associated with a little bit of controversy when there was a video, a behind closed doors video of a Bungie dev saying,
"So all of this is playable space."
And I think we all know that didn't really pan out. You couldn't go to those areas, and Bungie got a lot of flack, as they kind of rightfully should, for promising that and then not delivering. But now, with the Rise of Iron and with last gen being left behind, so current gen consoles can handle so much more, are we finally gonna get to go here? Are we finally going to get to go to this area of the Cosmodrome that at least sometime during the development, Bungie was very confident that they'd let us go there? That's a very interesting thing to add. So perhaps the Cosmodrome is getting bigger. Perhaps it's going to have a lot more area to explore and a lot more things to do. Because that means that there's potentially going to be some new activities and some new places to explore when the Rise of Iron comes out. More content is always good. Additionally, Bungie has already talked about how they're kind of spicing up public events for the Plaguelands, but if they're taking the time to go and remake the Cosmodrome, at least aesthetically, I hope they add some new public event stuff there too. That would be awesome. Now that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating or sharing this video. Now if you want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.